Good morning, everybody. We are back and talking about the Audioquest Jitterbug. This is going to be the last video for actually testing this thing. After that, we're just going to do a conclusion. We've tested a lot of devices, and I've heard a lot of things from various people, and that's all going to be put together in a conclusory video when I give you my final opinion about this thing. Today, we're going to do something different. So far, we have used products that require either USB power or actually do require battery power internally. So this time we're going to use a different unit. We're going to use something that's cheap, and we're going to use something that can plug into a wall socket, not just a wall, but a wall socket, so that it's getting power from a completely different source. And that source is, frankly, the wall socket is about 5 feet away, so I've got a very lengthy cord here. And then we've got the data coming in from the USB. Now, remember, there is absolutely no reason, I'm going to emphasize this, there's absolutely no reason why getting the power from a wall socket versus from the USB port should make any difference. And do you know why? It's a very, very simple explanation. Because this thing passes power. You understand? This thing does pass power because there's no other way. If it didn't pass power, there's no other way that the red from, Audioquest, the Dragonfly Red and the Dragonfly Cobalt would work. There's no way that their LEDs would light up. Clearly, power passes through this thing. Clearly, items can be powered. And clearly, Audioquest knows that because they recommend using this thing with the Dragonfly Black and the Dragonfly Red. So whether or not the power comes from the USB port or from a wall socket or from the battery within should be totally irrelevant, completely irrelevant, because this thing passes power. But you know what? We are the type of individuals that will test all those parameters just in case. So we are using the FX Audio Dac X6, which is, frankly, guys, if you are on a budget and you're looking for something that will just do the job, Dac X6, great job. That's a fantastic thing. And by the way, these do drive the Focal Clear. I mean, the Clears are relatively easy to drive, right? I mean, they're 55 ohm headphones, so they're very easy to drive. So worry not. The Dac X6 will, in fact, drive them, which is why I picked it. Okay, so we're going to use my test playlist, well, my FLAC playlist, not my test playlist, my FLAC playlist using AIMP. And just like the last parameters, we're just going to listen for any noise first. Then we're going to plug in the Jitterbug in a series. Then we're going to plug in the Jitterbug in a parallel. Then we're going to start playing music and do those other tests. Okay? So I'm going to sit here and just listen for any noise, hiss, anything like that. And I hear nothing. The volume in Windows is 100%. The volume in AIMP is 100%. You should be able to see that right here. The volume on the Dac X6 here is 0, so I'm going to increase to max. And I hear zilch, nothing. No hiss, no noise, nothing, okay? So I'm going to bring this back down. I'm going to plug in the Magic Stick here into parallel, so next to the data port into an unoccupied data port, because that's what Audioquest sometimes suggests. I hear no difference. I'm going to increase the volume. In fact, I'm going to keep the volume at 100% on everything to see if there's any jarring, any jolting, anything that would suggest that plugging in that black little box there, that rectangle, does anything. I hear nothing. I'm going to unplug. Nothing. Plug it back in. If it will go back in. Come on now. Nothing. Nothing. Okay? So what I'm testing for is whether or not I can decipher, I can tell if there's a spike anywhere, upward, downward, anything. If when this thing plugs in, is there a jolt upwards in noise, in hissing, and anything that would suggest that this thing is doing something, anything. I'll take anything. Nothing. Now let's plug it into a series where we plug it into directly the Jitterbug. Oh, ouch. That hurt. USB device not recognized. The last USB device you connected to this computer malfunctioned. That's what I'm getting. Okay? And I heard this popping in my right ear cup, which was not very nice. Let's plug this back into this. Just the Dac X6, and let's see what happens. That's immediately recognized. Okay, so the Dac X6 is immediately recognized. I'm going to try to plug it into a different port. And same problem. The last USB device you connected to this computer malfunctioned and Windows does not recognize it. And it doesn't recognize Dac X6 at all. All right, unplug. Plug this back in. Dac X6 recognized. All right, so, ooh, that is loud. I'm going to just play a track to make sure my headphones did not explode. Nope, headphones are fine. So interesting. This thing just won't work with the Dac X6. Why won't it work with the Dac X6? Now some people might say you're using an inferior component. You must use hi-fi components for it to make any difference. How dare you use inferior components? Okay. Well, what we're going to do is that we're going to stop and we're going to cut to a superior component and then we'll test that way. Look, we're going to do this the fair way. I'll be right back. All right, we are back and we got rid of the Dac X6 because this little thing simply wouldn't allow the Dac X6 to be recognized by Windows 10 for some strange reason. So we are using a different test parameter. Now what we're doing is I've got my SMSL SU8 plugged into the THX789 and the SMSL SU8 is currently in the front port of my computer. I have all these things tagged here, so this is number 18 and on my list 18 goes to the SMSL. And I just tested it and so it works. So we're using higher grade components now because that really matters, you know? And if anybody says this is not high enough, then you're out of your mind. Because nobody should be spending thousands of dollars to get use out of a $60 device. You are insane if you think that. Anyway, so let's do this. I'm just going to sit here and listen for any noise, any jitters, any, like you can hear jitters, like you can hear jitters if nothing is playing. Nothing. I've heard nothing. I'll increase the volume to max here. This is gain at number 3. Single-ended into the focal clear. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'll keep it at max. I'm going to plug in our little friend into parallel. Zero, zilch, nada. I'll take this out and I will plug this into the SMSL. Nothing. No jarring effect, no spiky, nothing spiking that would indicate that it has been connected and now it's destroying the demons inside the USB port. All right. So let's just play a song, shall we? I'm going to bring this down so my ears don't bleed. And let's just, it doesn't matter what we listen to really. Let's go to Churches. The Bones of What You Believe, and let's go to The Mother We Share. Okay, got the music started. And I gotta say, this is really analytical sound. Not everybody's taste, certainly not mine. I don't hear any jitters. And by jitters, I mean, you know, a stop and stop in the music, stop and go in the music, you know, just intermittent bumps in the way the music plays, you know, skipping tracks, essentially the way to explain it. Like if you're playing a CD and it just skips, that's what I'm talking about. It's not the same thing, it's just you're missing information. And so it just sounds like there's a hesitation, and it moves on, that there's missing something in the middle of the song, and then it moves on to the next thing. Like there's a gap in the music. I don't hear that. I'll increase the volume just in case here. Not that it makes a difference. Very comfortable listening lesson. And so I'm going to plug this into parallel. Oh my God, it makes no difference. Nothing. Like literally nothing. It's plug it in, hear nothing. Take it out, hear nothing. It's just... Let's stop. And I'm going to plug this into series now. Here we go. Plugged into series. And let's restart this song. Here we go. I hear no difference whatsoever. There's not an increase in detail. There's not a loss in detail. There's not like the whole sound stage opens up to me because I have this $60 rectangle plugged in now. It makes zero difference. I can't hear anything that's of any difference at all. Nothing. Absolutely zilch, nada, nothing. No difference. I have another test we'll do. How about that? We'll do one more test and I'll surprise you what it is. I'm going to stop this, come back, give you a third test. Okay, we are back for our third and final test. Do you know what this is to? This is an Apple remote. And do you have any idea what the Apple remote goes to? Do you have any idea whatsoever? I mean, yes, the Apple TV and the Apple computers. It goes to this thing. The MyTech Brooklyn DAC Plus. See? Turns on. The focal clears are currently plugged in to the MyTech Brooklyn DAC Plus. I love the faceplate of this thing and the purple lighting. It's so nice. You can change that lighting, by the way. That's part of the reason why you should buy this. Clearly, because the LEDs change. You were able to see that, right? Yeah, you were able to see it. There you go. This is plugged in. I took it all the way from the back and I plugged it in here to the front socket. And if anything, this should put everybody who says you're not using high-grade materials or units, put you to sleep. Just be quiet. Just shut up. All right? Just be quiet. This is as high grade as you can possibly get without being out of your mind. Insane. I mean, this is probably also insane, but still. Okay? I've been sitting here for about 5 minutes. This thing plugged in, the MyTech plugged in, my headphones on. I hear no hissing, no nothing. I hear nothing. Okay? I'll increase the volume to maximum. I hear nothing. I'm going to bring this volume back down so we don't kill my ears. I hear nothing. But you know what? Let's plug it into parallel and see if there's some change. No. The USB port doesn't get, all of a sudden cleaner, clearer. There's no loss of hiss. There's no increase of hiss. There's nothing. Zero. Take it out. And let's just play a song. Let's go back to The Mother We Share. Here we go. Okay, let's plug this into parallel. Nothing. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. Zilch. Nada. Nope. Nothing. Hey guys, you want me to plug this into the USB port, the hub? There you go. Just for the fun of it. Nope, no difference. Nothing. Okay, now let's do series. Okay, here we go. Prepare yourself. This is going to be really jarring. I got to keep my hand here because it's pulling so much on the port. Here we go. Whoa. Oh, hey, hold on. Whoa, I gotta test this. Hold on, hold on. Oh my God. Oh, whoa, hey, wait a minute. Come on. Holy smolies. Guys, hey, this still does nothing. I had you going there for a second, didn't I? Yeah, no, it does absolutely nothing. Nothing. It does nothing with my Mytek Brooklyn DAC Plus. Zero, zilch, nada, zip, nothing. I don't know how many different ways you can come up with saying zero in a donut, but this is what it does. Zero in a donut. That's it. This is it. I'm not doing any more tests with this thing because this thing is useless. Totally useless. Of all the excuses I have heard by people who either haven't listened to this, haven't actually done a test, or by individuals who make all sorts of weird excuses, I know for a fact now that those individuals need to be a little bit more realistic. I'm trying to say nice things. You know, that just the amount of nonsense, BS out there about products like this is simply gobsmacking. That people will make all sorts of justifications and excuses if you don't hear a difference. You're not using the right gear. The Chord Mojo is a mid-level amplifier in DAC. Well, that is true. It is mid-level. It sounds basically mid-level. I agree with that. But it's said in such a way that that thing, you're not going to hear a difference with that thing. Come on, don't be stupid. You need to buy something more expensive. You schmuck. All right, so you go to something that is much more expensive as a combination. $450 as it is right now. I think for $450, whatever it is, for the 789, plus another $250 for the SMSL. So you get that. That's more expensive than the Mojo alone. Discrete, right? The DAC is separate from the amplifier. That helps minimize any noise, any issues inside. Very high grade DAC. Anybody who says otherwise is not living in reality. And nothing. So then we moved to the next extreme of stupidity, and we went to the Brooklyn DAC Plus with its purple LED. Look at it. Look at the purple LED. It's crying out to me, telling me, come to me. And so I plugged in the Mytek, and nothing. Nothing. So here's what we've decided here. This thing doesn't work with anything that we've tested. Nothing. It totally failed with the Dac X6. Now, I don't know why it failed with the Dac X6. I have no idea. Because the Dac X6 plugged directly into the port works just fine. No issues at all. But with this thing, the Dac X6 simply can't work. I don't know how to explain it other than to say that's an issue with the Dac X6. Yeah, that's because everything else works for this. So I can't say it's the Jitterbug's fault. It's got to be something with the Dac X6, the way that the software, firmware, whatever is implemented, it simply won't work with this. That's all I can say. Or mine is faulty, but I don't know why it would be since it works directly into the port. So I'm not going to count that against the Jitterbug. I'm just going to say it appears from my use that this won't work with the Dac X6. And if you have a Dac X6 or something similar, you maybe want to be cautious about buying this just for that purpose. But with everything else, with all the tests that we've done, no difference. Because there never was going to be a difference. There never was going to be a difference. And that's not my bias talking, that's my reading of Audioquest website. That Audioquest says that all USB ports have inherent noise and jitters and hobgoblins and parasites and venereal disease, and you can get STD from it apparently. And their little magic cubicle here will get rid of all that. It'll increase the warmth, the resolution, the detail. It doesn't say that use this only for noisy ports, or the ones that are suffering from jitters, or causing jitters, not suffering from. That's not what they say. Nowhere in their marketing does it say that. That's what audiophiles who try to make excuses for this, that's what they say, to try to justify this. Well, I'm not here to take audiophiles' word for anything. I'm here to judge and to test whether a manufacturer is being honest or not. That's it. And currently, as of now, after all these tests, this thing will never go. This thing was never going to work, because the claims were so vague and so overwhelmingly encompassing that you had no idea what you were supposed to be listening for as the change. Vague terms. That's what Audioquest uses. Now, if they said, when you plug this thing in, I'll give you an example of a concrete statement that could have made. You plug this thing in, and you will notice a 10% decrease in noise that is inherent in a USB port. And you can download this app that we have, and you can actually see this working. Okay, well, that's testable, number one. And number two, okay, you've given me something to work with. 10%. I can understand that. Let me see if I can hear it. Is there a way to implement that? I have no idea. Maybe that's impossible for them to do. Okay. Or they could have said in the alternative, when you plug this thing in, and if you have a very noisy and troubled, possessed USB port, this will help alleviate some of the noise and the jitter because it attenuates some of that signal. In attenuating that signal, what's going to happen is you will start hearing a bit more of the song because there's less noise in the song. Doesn't that make sense? Instead of saying, when you plug this thing in, you get rid of the demons. You exorcise the demons from within. And then all of a sudden the song comes out warm and detailed and loving. That's nonsense. That's not how attenuation works. When you're attenuating something, by the way, you're clearly taking something away from the signal. That's what attenuation is. And when you attenuate something, even if it's a very narrow band attenuation, when you attenuate something, you're taking away some information that is part of the song in that narrow band, assuming it was recorded in that narrow band. For example, if this thing is supposed to attenuate noise in the 5 Hertz region and the 30,000 Hertz region, and for some strange reason, the recording has 5 Hertz detail and 30,000 Hertz detail, you're attenuating that detail. Just a hypothetical. But I don't know if this thing is designed to attenuate 5 Hertz and 30,000 Hertz. I have no idea because I don't know what it's supposed to do. Audioquest certainly doesn't make it clear. So either you can say it attenuates the extremes, the areas you can't hear, or you can say it's supposed to attenuate the noise throughout the frequency range. In either case, I can't hear it. I can't hear the extremes because my hearing is incapable, and so is yours, by the way. So is yours. It's incapable of hearing it. And second, if it is within my hearing parameters, then I still can't hear it because it didn't do it. All right? So that's the end of that. I'll upload a conclusory video, and we'll talk a little bit more about this stuff, hopefully later today. If you've been interested in buying something like this, hey man, you can do whatever you want. Maybe it'll work with your system. Maybe you have a very specific setup that this thing will like. Maybe you have an extremely noisy USB port and this thing will be able to attenuate some of that noise. Potentially possible. That's possible. I've never ruled that out. It's just that that's not what Audioquest says. It doesn't say only use for noisy and really bad USB ports. It doesn't say that. It says use it for all USB ports. So if you're thinking this is going to solve a problem you really don't have, then you're not going to. You're just going to be wasting $60. I hope that this has been of some help. If you enjoy my content, if you enjoy any of my content, then I would hope you would consider joining me on Patreon. I currently have 11 wonderful giving patrons who have decided to give me a little bit of their hard-earned money once a month. If you can find in yourself to donate just $2 a month to me, that would help me save money so that I can buy more products like these and test them thoroughly so that you can make a more knowledgeable, logical decision. If you are a regular viewer but you haven't subscribed, hey, think about subscribing. It'd be great for us to get to 600 subscribers before the end of the year. If you have any comments or concerns, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you want me to review a particular product I currently own, there is a product review form in the description below. Go ahead and click on that, fill it out, and I'll get to your request as soon as I can. I hope all of you have a wonderful, amazing rest of your Friday and a great beginning and end to your weekend. Take care.